Welcome back to another episode of The Just Stream.
The school year is over soon and there's so many events planned for the final few weeks.
And for us seniors, we graduate 15 days from today.
Yeah, and after hosting the Just Stream for 2 years, this is the very last time we're going to be in this studio.
I know, yet I still can't believe it.
But even though we're coming to grips with this surreal moment, we still have to get the show going.
So today we have Harry's video on high school CPR training.
Then a segment from Helen and Christie about the new ceramic studio. I'm Elizabeth Ryu.
And I'm Jane Nam. These stories and more on today's Just Stream.
The CPR training was quite challenging. Pressing down on the chest properly required more strength and timing than I thought.
Yeah, it was hard, but informative. Let's take a look at how CPR training went. Harry brings you the story.
Hey Jets! Our high school students had an opportunity to participate in a CPR training. The IS also invited a special guest to instruct our students. Let's take a look.
First of all, every student should know how to perform CPR in the correct way to save people in emergency situations. By learning this, they can deal with the accident with ease. I taught how to press adult chest and kids chest properly. Also, I taught how to use an AED, automated external defibrillator. When I taught them how to press an adult chest, I used an actual model of an adult to make it more realistic.
I signed up for this training because I wanted to learn more about CPR and it's quite interesting to save people.
Some things I've learned is that for you to do proper chest compressions, you have to break the ribs because you have to go 5 centimeters deep. If I didn't know that before, and if I had to do this before learning that, I would have not done proper chest compressions and probably killed the patient.
I think I feel confident because the teacher was very thorough and he explained it very well.
I have experience teaching DIS students and teachers, so I'm confident to teach them again next year. If DIS wants me to teach students next year again, I'll definitely come back here, DIS.
Seems like our students had a meaningful time. Thank you to everyone who participated. I'm Harry Cho for the Just Stream and back to the studio.
Even though the training was hard, it was definitely worth it. Now I'll be able to help if anyone is in trouble.
Great. Jane, since you know CPR, I entrust you with my life. I trust you.
Next up, we have a video on K is for kill.
Let's check out this segment that Helen and Christy produced.
Hear me out, Jets. Did you know that we have a whole ceramic studio up on the 4th floor where Mr.Gum and his classes have been coming up to make mugs, pots, and more? We talked to Mr. Gum and some of his students to get an insight of how the special room comes alive.
It is I, Mr. Gum, Lord of the Art Realm. Probably a misconception. I came up with the ceramic studio. Not true. So this was actually Mr. Jolly's idea, a fantastic idea. I didn't even think it was possible to have that here, so it's not something that I kept in mind. But it's something that obviously is really great. And he came up with the idea of how to make it work for us. So our kiln is an electric kiln, it's not a gas kiln. We had a company come in and look at how feasible it was to install it here, and it turned out it's totally possible to have it, and so here it is. My first experience was in high school, throwing on the wheel, sculpture, and then also I took a class in university, but you know, it's a long time ago, right? So it's really cool to have reconnect with those skills, lost skills. I'm not even sure if I have those skills, but you know, it's fun. So I'm glad to have that experience again.
I really did enjoy because it was a whole new experience for me, and touching clay is pretty cool too. Yeah. Mr. Gum actually got me into ceramics because he used to show us a lot of videos for ceramics and would always tell us about how we will go up to high school and learn ceramics. And I really did enjoy it, and to this day now, yeah.
It's cool like working with 3D things. I feel like we only ever get to draw things, and it's cute because we get to use them after. Right now I'm making 2 mugs, and those are just kind of standard mugs, I guess. And then I'm making a little jewelry holder in the shape of like a mini pool.
Currently just learning how to do all the steps, opening the clay and coning up and down. And I would like to make my own mug for my own use. The process of making ceramics, first of all, you gotta wedge. And then after you're done with wedging, you get it onto the wheel. You cone up and down until it's centered. And then you start opening the clay and make walls for the clay.
The wheel has its own process, its own stages of development for making pottery. And after that, that's just kind of like the first stage, because then we have to let it dry out, become bone dry, as we say. Then it gets fired for the first time, and then it becomes bisqueware. And that's the stage where we can think about glazes and how we're going to color the ceramics. And then it goes back into the kiln for the glaze firing, and then we're done. So very, very process intensive, and if you mess up at any stage of the process, like, you have to start all over again, right? So it's kind of like one of those things, like, what's the word? High, not stress, but what would you say? High risk, high payoff as well. Like when you finally make it to the end, you're like, oh my god, this is so cool. You know, maybe it's like this little thing, but it took forever to make it through all those stages, and so you're so excited afterward.
The kiln, the enthusiasm, everything in the studio builds the perfect environment for students to build ceramics. We certainly hope to see more amazing work done right from the ceramics studio. Keep your eyes peeled for more work from Mr. Gum and his students. This is Christy Park reporting for the Jetstream. Back to the studio.
The contributions of the ceramic studio are everywhere in school. When I forget my water bottle, I for real borrow this cup from my teacher. Catherine made it. Thank you, Kath.
Congrats to the music and art department for pulling off another successful round of concerts and exhibits. I enjoyed all the amazing work by elementary, middle, and high school.
Good luck, athletes, on the very first SCAC badminton tournament tomorrow.
Don't make a mistake by coming to school next Monday because it's Buddha's birthday.
Yay. Thanks for joining us today, Jets.
And as always, stay determined,
Intellectual, and successful!